Welcome back to the channel, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. He held her like she was safe, knowing the world outside would never let her be. Mississippi, 1902. This photograph was taken on a Sunday. They dressed her in her only good dress, combed her hair slow, told her to sit still in her father's lap. She didn't smile, not because she didn't love him, but because even at 4 years old, she had already learned something was wrong with the world she was growing into. Her name was Lila Mae, and the man holding her was her father, Samuel Carter. He worked land he did not own, picked cotton he would never profit from, lived in a house that could be taken from him with a single word from a white man who decided he had stayed too long. But when he held Lila, none of that showed, because in that moment he was not a laborer, not a target, not a man forced to step aside on sidewalks or lower his eyes when white men passed. He was just a father, holding the only thing in his life that made all the suffering feel worth surviving. What this photograph does not show is what came after. 3 weeks later, Samuel refused to leave his land after being told his debt had increased again, a debt he had already paid twice over with his hands and his years. That night, they came for him. No trial, no questions, no mercy. They dragged him from his home while Lila screamed from the doorway, her small hands gripping the frame so tightly her fingers bled. She watched them take him. She watched him disappear into darkness. She never saw him again. The next morning, someone brought back his hat. Nothing else. No body, no burial, no goodbye, just a hat and silence. Lila kept this photograph her entire life, not because it was beautiful, but because it was the last moment she remembered what it felt like to be protected, to be held by someone who loved her more than the world hated him. Years later, when people asked her about her father, she didn't speak much. She just said, "He used to hold me like nothing could ever take him away." And then she would go quiet because she knew the truth. In that world, love was never stronger than white cruelty. How many black children grew up holding photographs because the people who loved them were taken too soon?